So now all we have to do is somehow make this thing public. And now we wait. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Let's see what other options we got here. Let's see. Info here. Save that. In fact, why don't we just do this? Okay, that's good there. All right. So now all we have to do is wait. I guess what I can do is I can look up a story to read to them. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Let's look more into this whole thing, just to see if I can navigate my way around this. Oh. Did I shut off notifications? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, and then all we have to do is editor. That's good there. Okay, let's see, alert profile. There's nothing there. Settings. Okay. So, I guess we can see now. Just fiddling around with this here. Let's see. Alright, so oh dear. Okay. No, we're gonna just put it like right there. What the hell? Okay, right there, whatever. Okay, so I guess we're waiting to see who comes onto this thing. It is public. I hope no one's forgotten, but we'll see. Let's see. Okay, story time. Let's see, what story can I read to them? Okay. Okay, so it is public. Let's see here. Okay, no one has joined just yet. Yeah, there is public, alright. Huh. Let's have a look at this thing. Okay, that's good. There. What else? Events. Settings. That's all good. Let's see. Yep, it's public, alright, I guess I can rename this maybe. Let's call this second chance stream. Yes. Yes. Oh, bollocks. Actually, let me check one thing. Alright, now let's check back in my old channel. Not old, but, you know. Yeah, I'm live now, so that's good. Let us see.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so Marcus said he was going to be here on Sunday. Logan may not make it. It's been 11 minutes already, so. Yeah, I'm live, I guess. Okay, let me see. To be fair, some people may have to work on Sunday, I don't know. Dog, let me go check on the dog for a moment. You get down there. And I will see if there is anybody. If there's anybody. No one yet, so. Oh, I see you're there, Ahab. Let's hope. Let's hope we can get him here soon enough. I know Marcus might be here, but I'm not sure. I know Logan was going to back out here a few moments ago because he had other preoccupations, but I guess we'll wait a little longer. I don't know. So how are you doing tonight, Ahab? Yes, indeed. Let's. Oh, there you are, Goontick. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Like I said, I've only ever done this thing like 3 or 4 times. I'm new at it. It's funny. I like doing these live streams. Yeah, thank you. There he is there. That's all you'll get to see of him because he's technically not my dog. But either way, let him down now. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I like doing these things, these little live streams, because I like to, connect with people. I guess I can tell you this. Walter, that's the dog's name. I didn't name him. It's not Ignatius, no, it's Walter. But yeah, I like these live stream things because, I like to get involved with people and all that stuff. Yeah, but no, he's a Walter. But I don't like actually participating in them, like coming into other people's, because I always feel, it always seems to be the case that I enter in at the wrong time, like midway through. I like to see the whole thing through, not just get the snippets and such. So good, we got you guys here, which is good. Now, don't know if Marcus or Michael or Logan will be here, but we'll see. I guess enough of Sudoku for today. I guess we can. I can read another story for you guys. Let me see. This is another one of those stories that was published for the school journal or paper, whatever it was. Now, a little bit of context to this story. As you well know, at the time I was going through a very rough patch of my life with this one girl, and I had actually associated her with a ladybug. Well, I guess I can read this one story first. I had associated her with the ladybug because she, of all things, was fascinated with ladybugs. So, true story this. This 3-paragraph long story called Her Ladybug was published October the 31st, 2017, and I'm going to read it now. She always desired a ladybug of her own. When she first saw one crawling about a boy's books in her history class, she said pleadingly, "I want it," and later reproached him for his intentions to kill it. A relatively frivolous circumstance to most, but it was one that I took to heart thereafter. Her birthday was the 5th of October, and since I felt within me an indefatigable love for her, I thought it a matter of course to fulfill her intrinsic demand. For over the summer, when the school was let out, I made a sort of queer necklace for her with an inordinately long silver watch chain fastened together and a fop in the shape of a ladybug clipped on. for it was impossible for me to procure a live ladybug for her amusement, as it was for the insect itself to last a day within her unscrupulous clutches. I was somewhat proud of it when it was finished, though it didn't resemble anything bought in a shop at all, and when the school year was to start up again, I made sure that the day of her birth would be known by everyone, and that she, in some way or other, would be happy. I posted a notice stating that it was her 18th in the center of the school campus. Now this is a wee bit fictitious. I actually never did any of this except make the necklace. Had her name called and her birthday noted over the loudspeaker, and presented to her my gift by means of mutual friends. Once this was done, I thought that all that was left to do was to wait for a jubilant response from her, though in truth I hoped I would never receive one. As the weeks went by, her appearance on campus became less frequent, and I was all but indifferent. That was, of course, until one day when I saw her at the school library, facing me, the necklace rakishly about her neck. I winced and received a vision of hell. Okay, now that 3-paragraph story was published and went practically unnoticed for about 2 months. And let me let this dog out, if you don't mind. Okay. There you go. You free, you. Oh. Any of you still there? I know this connection's real bad. I can't do anything about it, but I just want to make sure if any of you are still there. Yes, indeed. Anyway, so this story was published in the school newspaper and went unnoticed for about 2 months. And that wasn't, of course, until she found out about it through whatever means and demanded to the newspaper teacher that I do not refer to her in any light whatsoever in my writing. Now, as you can see, I didn't necessarily refer to her directly. I didn't even give her a physical description. The only thing that I said was true was her date of birth, and nothing else. Okay. Well, I don't know anything about this YouTube thing. It's all bugged, really. I don't know per se about that, but basically what she did was, yeah, I guess she exposed herself in that way, but what she did was she took this to the newspaper teacher and demanded me not to refer to her, because she knew about the whole ladybug thing, okay, well, that's something then. Let's just try and ride this out as best we can, I guess. Anyway, as I was saying, that story, Jesus, where was I? She told the newspaper teacher for me not to refer to her in my writing whatsoever, and then so I complied. And I wrote this story, which was published about 3 or 4 months later, in February, called I Saw Her Standing There. And I replaced, well, because, to be honest with you, it was supposed to be over after this stage, this whole thing. I don't want to get into it. It's horrible. But I'm going to read the story anyway. So, here it is. While winding my unobsequious watches, and by the way, I convinced somebody to read this for me, actually, online. I believe I linked a playlist to it. Go to my channel, it's called My Fiction, and you'll see Dave the Useless, a very underrated creepypasta narrator, narrating 2 of my stories. So, go check that out. Anyway, while winding my unobsequious watches, I chanced to glance over my shoulder when I saw a mosquito scuttling up my window. I replaced the ladybug with a mosquito because she knew, obviously. Or rather, what seemed on the surface a mosquito. In my mind, this belligerent bug, the invidious insect, was the discarnate embodiment of her. Yes, her, her. The girl whom it incited such a sense of sorrow and terror that I had lost all hope in claiming a companion, eventually causing me to fear the odious opposite sex altogether. Oh, how I spurn her, and yet how frightened I am of her as well. I had water up here. What did I do with it? Did I have water up here? Whatever. I'll just continue with the story. She crawled up to where the sun shone, and when she was not thence vaporized out of existence, I pulled down the shade as to rouse her into exhaustion. For a moment she disappeared, and I was for a little while lifted up from the depths of the fiery perdition of her influence. That's another cliche. Good Lord. I proceeded to toy with my watches, shaking each one in case their gears were assailed with a sort of mechanical arthritis, when from behind the illumined shade there came her insidious outline, creeping about in circular formation. In anger I thrust the shade back up, and saw her, red as a blood clot, up against the chartreuse garden and back. Now you can tell it was supposed to be a ladybug. Oh well. At the sight of her, I was transported back into the early days of my preliminary pusillanimity. I bet you haven't heard that word used in a while. The instance when she perceived me to have a penchant for her, though she herself had already had a companion at the time, the eventual disclosure of her obvious compunction brought on by this, the promptitude of the implication of me in separate ramifications of those excoriating memories. Classrooms, Jesus Christ. Yes, ancient words, I'm sorry. I tend to, I like words. I know I tend to use quite a lot that aren't used too much nowadays, but, I think more people should appreciate them. What was I saying? In separate classrooms during final examinations, she was too much of a distraction for me, the ramifications of those excoriating memories manifesting in the form of her desire to seek me out the following year and do who knows what. All these assaulted my brain with relentless fervor. Jesus. Oh, I thank you very much. This is very rough. Well, not really. Either way. Thank you. Anyhow, I have. She needn't trouble any longer, I thought. I smashed her with my thumb, the blood running through the lines of my skin, and once this was done, I referred back to my watches, which somehow seemed to cooperate. Okay, so you can see that it makes a little less sense now that it was a ladybug, or, whatever. I'm tired. I'm sorry if I can't speak clearly. It's a Sunday, and I'm always very lethargic on a Sunday. So, either way. And then all this other stuff with the police being phoned up. And it's a lot of stuff happened, and I really don't want to talk about it. But either way, those were the 2 stories. I'm going to go get some water, I'll be right back, and the rest of the time will be reserved chiefly for questions. So, thank you. I thought I put it somewhere. Oh, come on. Hell. There it is, man. Got my bloody face. No, it wasn't Punchinello Bizzo. Actually, in my day, I used to make up quite a few strange names for people. I believe, well, this one's actually pretty badass if you think about it. Arthur Bludgeon. But I can't think of anyone that would be like corny or anything. Let's see. Let's see here. Come up with my stories. That's a very good question. Well, I like calamari. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good name too. Well, I like calamari, so automatically squid is the winner in that department. Never tried octopus. In terms of themselves being animals, I don't know. I believe octopus has more, like, defense mechanisms and such and all that. Yes. But, let's see, squid. Who would I hang out with? I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I don't really find myself hanging out with too many animals, really. So, I wonder how that would go, eh? It'd be like a sperm whale fighting the squid. You know, that very famous. Is that even a real phenomenon? I know sperm whales eat giant squid, but has anybody actually seen them fight like that, like you see in them pictures of it? Yes, I am. I actually got this for my birthday. It's a reproduction of the Danish poster. I always wanted one of these, and now I got one. I've got to get a Lost World 1925 picture to go with it. It'll go someplace right there. So yeah. It's well, I'm sure when the cameras were off it did, but no, I don't think so. Maybe before Denham's crew got to the island. I'm not sure, really. Well, Kong was an ape, so maybe. Okay. Alright, I guess I can shut this down. On another note, I finally saw Paddington, and let me tell you, I wanted to hug that bear by the end of it. Are you serious? Well, what do you think of it? I just can't wait. I mean, well, I guess, I mean, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but, you know, it's something, it's revolutionary. It was revolutionary for its time, but, yeah, what do you think of it? Oh, he did. Well, that's understandable, yeah, technically speaking. Well, it is a very flawed film, and I did hear. Uh, funny. Yeah, just a bit. Big, you know. But I guess you'd really want to punch him in the book, actually, because in the well, you've read the book, Guntik. You know that Hammond is actually much more of a curmudgeonly person in that. Uh, they sort of toned him down a bit for the film, but either way. What was I saying? Yeah, indeed. He deserved being eaten by them compies, you know. And yeah, Paddington was great. Yeah, it looks a wee bit too much like an elephant now upon realization. Yes, indeed. Not Saxkin. Just a little bit. Didn't you? I believe in one of your old videos, you were talking about that film Dinosaur that Disney released back in 2000, which, fun fact, is the first film I remember seeing. Uh, I was, I believe, 0 or something like that. And my parents took me to see it because apparently, yeah, I actually, well, I have a soft spot for that film because it's the very first film I remember seeing uh, back in my day. But I haven't seen it in years. I don't even know if it holds up. Probably not. But but anyway, it's, I was almost going to cut this street. Oh, I know. Well, I think I was born. I don't know. I want to say I was born at the time, but I'm not sure. Yes, indeed. I was almost going to cut off this stream like 20 minutes in, and then people started showing up. It's strange, these things, you know. Either way, uh, I'm glad at least I can rely on you guys, you know. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I was saying. With regards to what I was talking about with Jurassic Park, I just. Oh yeah. I was. I participated in a live stream that Logan did in his. I forget. I think it's called the Real Zelda Master of Minecraft. He comes up with some of the most long and complex names that I can't even be bothered to remember them. But it was on one of those channels. Well, so long as you're here, that's all that matters. But he had said that he thought the Jurassic Park film, at least the first one, was a bit slow, and I can understand that. And I know when I was little, I used to forward wind through all the human bits to get to the dinosaur bits. So I can see that entirely. So, yeah, we'll go. I believe until I don't know, maybe 6:30, quarter to 7, something like that. Yeah. That's a good question. Stunned me. Do you mean like, I guess, stunned me by how deep and metaphorical? Let's see, stunned me. I guess, I remember stunning me. That's a good question indeed. Hmm. Oh, I guess, well, this isn't the first movie that stunned me. This is like real recent. Uh, that latest Adam Sandler film, Uncut Gems. If you've not seen that, let me tell you, best film of the year, of last year, that is. And then film I remember completely hating. Let's see, uh, Paddington. Well, I did like Paddington very much. I just saw it today, and but no, it would have to be the one that stunned me was Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. I tell you, unlike Eddie Murphy in his dramatic role, I can actually keep a straight face with Adam. I don't understand why. I can. But the first one I hated was. That's a good question. Oh, I. No, I don't hate Paddington. Uh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see I know that the sequel has been out for a while. I need to find somewhere or other to watch it. But yeah, first movie I hated. Well, I'm gonna go by the old standby and say Jurassic World because it was not needed. I know it was wanted to hell, but its execution was awful, and I don't even consider it canonical. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So yeah, those I guess are the two films that stunned me and I remembered hating. So yeah, I'll be here for a little while. Hmm. Well, if you think about it, The Lost World sort of progressed the story a wee bit. You know, with the in respect to, because obviously Crichton did write the novel, obviously, but of course he was coaxed by Spielberg to do it. So you know, there's that to take into account. But you can say it kind of. Oh well, I don't know if what I can say about that, but I guess well, the one I saw the most, I guess, out of those two is The Lost World. It's actually the one I first remember buying on DVD when I was 8 years of age, and I watched it until I wore the disc out. It was so good. But Jurassic Park 3, I guess you could say it's a well. People say it's corny, but then it is the shortest film of the series, so I guess you could say whatever fat happened to be in The Lost World, it was cut free in this one. So, as to which one I like more, in terms of dinosaur deaths, The Lost World, that waterfall scene actually traumatized me. When I don't know who in their right mind would have the incentive to make a movie about me, but if they paid me, certainly. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I like them equally, I guess. But that waterfall scene just traumatized me when I was little. You know what else traumatized me? Weird Al Yankovic's Jurassic Park music video. The song itself, I listened to the song itself a long time ago. I thought it was fairly decent. I actually liked it very much. But that music video, I tell you, if I were to make a childhood trauma video, which I don't know if I will or not, most likely not, that would be at number one. It made me loathe dinosaurs for the longest time, and for 3 months I could not get that song out of my head, and those damned visuals and stop motion and everything. Don't. Well, I get it's weird. It's stop motion, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I saw it recently, actually. It wasn't bad. Or I saw bits and pieces of it, but either way. View it at your own risk. That's all I'm saying to you, Ahab. View it at your own risk. I actually, a long while ago, I believe I posted a snack and a story somewhere on this channel. I might get back into those, I'm not sure. But in which I described a near-death experience. Now, I don't know if many people saw that video, but basically what happened was one night, oh, it's got to have been 5-6 years ago by now, I had basically was violently awoken and could not breathe. And, you know, I ran to the bathrooms, and my brother knew, he was staying at the house at the time, and he sort of knew I was up, and he went to check on me, and he said, "What's going on?" And I was like, I don't know, and all that. But within like a minute of him intruding on me, I could breathe again. I have no idea how to explain that. It wasn't sleep paralysis, because I was mobile, but I'm not actually sure what happened to that, about that. But if you haven't seen that snack and a story, you don't have to now, because I just explained it. Either way, that's the only one I could really remember. I can't explain it though, so yeah. On another note, let's see, creepiest place. That's a good one. Let me see. I haven't been many places, but let's. Oh yes, I remember very distinctly. My brother was going to move to a particular neighborhood, which shall remain nameless, and this was during. This was, as I said, 4 or 5 years ago, and the neighborhood in particular was kind of like cut off from the rest of the world, and the only way to access it was if you were going up the motorway, and then you hang a right, and then you go down there for a bit, and then you hang another right. You take down this long road here through a tunnel of trees on either side, and barely any light got through there, and it made it seem as though this place were inhabited by either strange, otherworldly, Lovecraftian creatures, or perhaps by crazed mental patients or something or other. But by the time you finally got to the end of it, which felt like a million years. I certainly saw the rebirth of the angiosperms in the middle of it, I should say. The neighborhood was in the middle of a little cul-de-sac right here. And it was all walled off by bush on that side and that side. And I actually was so affected by it that I wanted to write a short story, but I never ended up writing a story about it because I never researched it, or I never really sat down and did it because I was doing other things. But we actually went back there a year or so ago. Was not as unsettling as I remember. Most of the greenery has since been reduced, and yeah, I was thinking of actually writing that story in which several odd occurrences happen in that neighborhood, and now I was thinking that perhaps maybe if evolution were to go backwards, whoever moved there would. Now you can't steal this idea. I'm just do whatever you want. But I was thinking that in this neighborhood, once you settle there, you start to regress back into the earliest stages of evolution. And the wildlife and such, like birds become dodos and lizards start to take on a more elephantine form, and man would become more humpbacked and bigger browed and all that. Yeah, I certainly think so. Actually, I've got to get to writing that. Maybe we'll see. I'd call it, I don't know, maybe just regression. That's a pretty ambiguous title, but I think it would work. I'm not sure. We'll see. Originally, I was going to call it The Neighborhood, and I don't know. We'll see. But that was, I guess, the creepiest place I'd been to in recent memory. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. That is, of course, if I ever get bloody published. I'm working with plenty of people who. Well, I'm working with this one chap who is completely against the idea of publishing traditionally, and just wants me to do like a podcast or something, kind of like what I'm doing now, but just chiefly my work. And then I'm working with this other fella whose son does documentary films and wants me to do voice work for one of them, but the father knows publishers. So it's a double-edged sword, as it were. But yes, I will try and get to that story soon. In fact, let me plug in this phone. Yeah, let me plug this in so it can charge whilst we're doing this. It's a disturbing book. I don't know if I could say, I don't know about a book per se, but I can say the most disturbing thing I've read is The Hound by H.P. Lovecraft. That is the very first story that actually caused me to, upon completion, sit back a few minutes, check my surroundings, because I believe I was in the house alone, and actually do a reconnoiter. It just instilled that much fear within me. That's really, I don't know about a book, but that story really did it to me. And, yeah. On another note, I actually saw that Sanak, the hatch egg. Oh. Let's see. That would be a good question. I don't necessarily I'm not skilled very much in weaponry, but I suppose maybe some or another type of rocket launcher, maybe a cannon. I'm not sure. Maybe a counter drug that were to disinfect. I don't know, something like that. But I couldn't tell you to say. But as I was saying, on another note, I finally saw that San-Ak, the Hatch Egg movie, film, hit film, as it were. But it was actually quite decent. Wasn't great, wasn't good, but it was decent. And let's just say, San-Ak does not look like anything out of, the Vault of Horror as he did in the trailers. But yeah, it was all right. That San-Ak movie. Like I said, I alerted Marcus, and he said he'd be here, but maybe he's having the same issue. I'm not sure. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe the whole film of Kill Bill, Volume 1, or something. I haven't really. That would be like my stereotypical answer. But really, I think if you have seen that Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie, there's a scene in which he sort of calculates every single motion needed in order to like land a perfect punch in boxing, and he executes it very well, and it shows all the details and such behind it. That's sort of an analytical sense, but I don't know if that answers the question or not. But there it is, I guess. I don't really study fights in movies all that much, but that would be it. Either Kill Bill, that one fight between Brad Pitt and Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was, I believe, Quentin's best, and Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. Is it hot in here? It's hot in here. Let me go ahead and switch on the fan. Oh, there we go. I'm still trying to figure out the mechanics of this place. Yeah, that would be the fight of the century, wouldn't it? He'd sick his pit. He'd throw a marmalade sandwich at Kong, and then thousands, millions actually, of pigeons will come and overtake him. That's what I predict. Yes, that would be more adorable and more fair, actually, because they are of similar. Actually, 3'6", I believe, is the height of Paddington, and Alf is 3'2". So that would be much fairer. Let's see. I'm not sure who'd win that one. Oh, who do I think is more adorable? Oh, sorry, I misread your question there. Oh, yeah, the V-Rexes. I wasn't thinking about that at the time. Where it fought like 3, 4, 5 of them. That was it's funny actually. Well, firstly, Paddington, much more adorable than Alf. Alf, don't get me wrong, Alf, who couldn't love that face there? But Paddington, you just want to hug him. But that V-Rex fight, it's funny because a few weeks back, Mum was watching the Peter Jackson's Kong for not for the first time, but the first time in a long time. And then she was watching this scene, and she was like, "There's another one, and another there, and all that," and she was all on her toes, as it were. And when he finally broke the jaw of the V-Rex, she was like, ah, or something. But what was real funny was when Andy Serkis's character, Lumpy, was eaten by them penis worms called Carnictus. And then she was like, oh my lord. And she, she was nearly sick, I could tell you that. Well, yes, Paddington would most likely win. I don't know if I should really make these regular. Yeah, that would have been hilarious. I know, but you can't win all the time. Oh, funny thing, you may know this. I don't know, but in the extended version of that film, there was a scene cut out of it in which he like made he didn't make love, but he made out with a cabbage on the ship for some reason. I guess because your 86 men lost at sea, all of them drunk except for he. What else are you going to do if you're on that voyage for a long time? you're going to you're going to xenomorph a cabbage, apparently. I don't know. Kong Skull Island was for a while the one film that we would watch whenever it was on the television. And yes, I have seen it theatrically, and I must say, aside from the original, it's probably the best Kong film that we've gotten, and it's actually it's a fine balance between action and character development and everything. Unlike Peter Jackson, which is you can argue is kind of bloated and such, but also one of the things I like about that film is that Kong's design. They made him look more close to the original, making him look like not just like a giant gorilla, but like sort of a monster ape that automatically earns points in my book. So, yeah. And I actually do have it on Blu-ray, so if that attests to anything, then yes, that shows you my thoughts on that film. I loved it. I don't know if I should make these a regular thing or not, because it's a 50-50 chance if anybody will show, but yes, indeed. His little face, yeah. Let's see here. I guess I could let this go until 7, or a quarter to 7, I don't know. because I like doing these things. I guess whatever. I actually have seen Son of Kong. It's been a while since I've seen it. I saw it a real long time ago. Uh, I remember it's far shorter than the original, or than the first one, and I think it took. I want to say there was less ape in it than the first Kong, but I did see it, and I did remember liking it at the time, but I haven't seen it for like not for a decade at least. But yeah, I have seen it. Now you guys don't mind if I do my Sudoku, do you? It's just that uh, I was waiting here, and I decided to, I have nothing better to do on a Sunday. I already watched part 31 of the Chris Chan documentary, and have been haggling with plenty of other people as well. So I decided just to, do these things. Okay. Let's see here. I am just as obsessed, fascinated, revolted, appalled, whatever, by him as anybody else is. Actually, my one of my future ambitions is to write a Proustian epic, fictionalized, of course, about him. He is such a fascinating, multifaceted figure. His story is quite tragic. It is an endless tragedy. And to be quite frank, he gives us autistics a very bad name. He really does. He really does. And he puts it, you may, I know because I've been put through quite a lot of. That's a phone call there. I'm gonna go ahead and call them back later, maybe. This may be like the last one. But yes, full opinion is I'm just as fascinated and obsessed to know all about him as the next guy. And that's it. And that Proustian epic, if I were to write it, would be called All Men Must Die. You can figure out the symbolism behind that title. Yeah. Once this whole document, I'm sure you all know about the documentary Gino Samuel, I think .1, whatever his name is doing. Once that thing wraps, and it looks like it's going to do it, and it's not going to wrap anytime soon. Once it does, I will get on it. Hmm. Just the fact that it seems to be getting on much slower than I would like, and that be uh, being who I am, certain things that should be innate in one seem to have just become relevant to me at, bloody 20, and that just is very, very, not very encouraging at all. And it makes one almost think, well, you may as well start over. Uh, so, and that existential thing too. Uh, so yeah, that's probably the one thing, or two things, whatever. This wire in the way. Let me move that. Okay. If they try to ring me again, I'll probably have to end this stream. But looks like now it was probably a misdial. Let's see. This is going to sound very egotistical, but when things go my way, uh, when I get stuff done that I've been meaning to for quite some time, uh, and really, when by the end of the day you feel as though you've accomplished something, that's really the best in life, I think. So. Yeah. Okay, Yeah, I guess this stream here. I guess it's your end. It's yeah. Uh, I guess it's your end where there's the hang up. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess. Oh, I guess I could tell you about my thoughts about this whole supposed coronavirus, because apparently most people won't shut up about it. I believe that this is going to be. Let's see. Well, since Charlie Rose has already been found out, let's see. I need to go to my next best person. That would have to be. Oh. Cats, maybe. Well, yeah, obviously he loves it very much. But heartbreaking. It would have to be. That's a good question, because you know Yes, he did. Well, he didn't diddle. He just he sexually harassed women and such and all of that. But either way, he's no longer on air, which infuriates me. So yeah, I let me see. God. Well, I guess since he worked with MJ, maybe Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles. I don't know, one of those people. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's funny because people keep saying he is and he isn't. I mean, I know Lionel Richie has claimed that he isn't, but he himself, Stevie, keeps saying that he is. I'm not sure. Who knows? Oh yeah, Spielberg. That would be a big one too. If he were to have, if that were to be found out, that would definitely hit me right there. Yeah, indeed. Although I don't necessarily agree with his opinion. In an interview, he said that Stevie would write a song about anything, like when you'd say "How you doing," he'd go "How you doing," or something like that. I believe that Stevie has much more merit than that. I envy him as a songwriter. I've tried. I mean, really, I wasn't aware of that. So, unless it's, I mean, I'm sure it received wide circulation, that essay, but I don't know. We'll see. He did work with a lot of child actors. Let me look that up, actually. All right, what is it? By okay, what is it? By Crispin Helen Glover. Yeah, back to. Yeah, let's see. Wait a second. Narration. I can only find evidence of what is it being a film. I don't know about any essay. It says that it it came with a question and answer, or it was accompanied by a question and answer session. Right. Yeah. Speaking of Michael Jackson, this coronavirus, it's going to be just like Michael Jackson's death. Everyone will rave about it for 6 months, and then it will blow over as if nothing had happened. That's how I view it, because really, people seem to worry too much about, the state of the world and such, and really, they need to get on with their lives. They've got more important things to do than to be worried about some out of the way pestilence, you know. I had a friend who actually very much liked Michael Jackson. Uh, I'm sure I told you that she was the first one who showed me the Thriller music video, of which I was also terrified. That would also, a lot of music videos seem to terrify me when I was a child. That would also be one on the list if I were to make a childhood trauma. So yeah. Yes, I want to. Yeah, I believe she showed that to me as well. This friend of mine, who's no longer a friend anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, I remember being scared of that for for different reasons too. But yes, I do remember seeing that. I believe. So yeah. Let's see. Huh. I would have to go with there's. This is a bit of a deeper track. We're going way back. Uh, it's called Dapper Dan. It was actually from the 70s. One of the very first MJ tracks. So yeah, they would have to go with that one. Hmm. Let's see. When somebody doesn't speak properly, when you know that their I suppose construction of sentences is somewhat skewed by either their fatigue or their ignorance or something of that nature. Uh, I want to kind of be engaged in a somewhat semi-intelligent conversation, but you know, if you I'm fine with like slang and grammar and that stuff, but if you like screw up, if you misstep or mispronounce or something like that, then I don't hate you, Guntik. No, I don't hate you. I do not hate you whatsoever. But it's just, I think it's more personal, like familial with me. I'm not sure. But trust me, Guntik, I do not hate you. In fact, I cherish you. Huh. Yeah, I didn't make this one as well known as the first, or the second, or whichever one, but somehow you guys showed up, but we'll see. Either way, yeah. Yes, I believe so. Um, I I understand that you know when you you know do your shtick and everything, you know Ahab and Guntik, all that. It's all in good fun, but I believe, given your backgrounds, I suppose this thing is like sort of a sort of like a sort of a therapeutic thing. and you yourself, I mean, I don't know, if I were to meet you in real life, I'm sure you'd be just as chummy, as it were, in your videos, but obviously, I can very well see the line between. I often think sometimes how other people get on in life outside of this thing. I know I get on just as, if not more, if not better than I do here. But either way, um, yes, I can imagine that. I mean, it might be hard living, but I'm not sure. I can't say. I've never met you in person. So, but yes, I can somewhat see it. It's a very hazy thing, but yeah. Yeah, maybe. I certainly hope so. Maybe we'll do like either we could meet in person, or we could do a little what's it called? A damn it, video chat or something like that. So yeah, we could definitely try that sometime or other. Don't know when it'll be, but so I guess Guntik is just nutty professoring it. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see about that. I will definitely have you in mind. Yes, you will be among the first to receive copies. Uh, um, I will definitely make that. Yes, indeed, very much so. I will make that a priority. All right, it's 6:30. I'll go for like 15 more minutes, and then I'll make dinner, and then I'll carry on with the rest of my night. So, however many questions you can shoot off in within the course of 15 minutes, fire away, I guess. Well, let's see. I'll be waiting for that super important octopus question. Uh, well, I mean, if I were to go to an aquarium, yeah. I mean, they're very fascinating animals, uh, as I've said. And yeah, I guess I would. I don't know if I'd be with him under the sea in his garden in the shade, but like Ringo. But I wouldn't mind learning more about the physiology of octopus, or of octopi, rather, or cephalopoda. And yeah, I would, basically. I actually am pretty willing to try pretty much any food. So yes, I would try octopus. I don't know if it would be baked in a pie per se, but really, well, we'll see. I guess I'm not sure if that would be legal, but yeah. I have been to Disneyland on a number of occasions. Most recently was about a year or two ago. Facsimile of Hell. Well, let us just say that I was with some younger